Hi everybody, this is Jason Eagle, your natural health authority, and with another Healing Matters podcast. You can like my Facebook page, which is Strategic Healing. You can go to my YouTube channel, which is Jason Eagle QRA. Instagram, I think, is Strategic Healing as well. Patreon is Strategic Healing. Today we are talking about alcohol withdrawal, quitting alcohol. Should you quit alcohol? Have you quit alcohol? And what should you do about it? Alcohol drinking. Now, there's definitely some science that states that if you can keep alcohol drinking under control and your body has the enzyme to digest it and nervous system work with it, not everybody, but all things being equal, if you're relatively healthy, basically one drink, essentially one beer, one wine, one mixed drink or hard alcohol, one for a woman over 30, one a day, and two for a male per day over 30. Males can take a little bit. Actually can help to prevent some cardiovascular problems. It can be helpful, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but most people can't do just one. And many people have overdone that in the past, are still overdoing it. COVID has been really hard on people in terms of created a lot of alcohol drinking. A lot of people drink a lot of alcohol and still drink a lot of alcohol. And alcohol is not good for you. Alcohol is a byproduct of fermentation. And even for the people that say, well, you know, I do it for it's cardiovascular protective, there's other things that can do the same thing and better. So I'm not fully convinced that, you know, alcohol is the best thing. And then even too, if you said alcohol was the best thing, okay, well, what form of alcohol and who made it? And there is such junk out there. People that have switched to, for instance, oh, you know, I drink those sparkling water ones, okay? Or I drink a cooler or this or that. Those are made with, in particular, like say, I don't know, the ones that are low calorie. They're made with a malt alcohol, or they're made with it. It's very cheap booze. It's very cheap alcohol. So yes, you may reduce your calories, but in terms of how they make it, it's cheap. And the cheaper alcohol is actually more toxic. And people that have been over drinking, doing too much alcohol, one of the first things that it does is alcohol is highly addictive. And it's difficult to eliminate without superb nutritional support and professional help. So that's the first thing, is if you really are an alcoholic, and I'll get into what is an alcoholic, and you need help and you can't do it yourself. Alcoholics Anonymous has always been a really good source, but there's another ones. If you're really, really bad, you rehab. But what do they do in rehab? And that's what I'm going to talk about this, is what do they even do in Alcoholics Anonymous, which is there's support, but also when people drink alcohol, they get very deficient in many vitamins. Now, there's lots of people, I know people that drink beer and drink a lot of beer throughout their life, and yes, there's B vitamins. But what happens is they overdo the alcohol and don't eat enough food and eat poor food. And so one of the things when people do drink alcohol excessively is they have extreme nutritional deficiencies. One of the number one nutritional deficiencies is B vitamins. They don't have enough B vitamins. And without enough B vitamins, your brain doesn't work correctly. Your metabolism doesn't. A lot of people don't like to quit drinking, just like they don't like to quit smoking, because they will gain weight. And you have withdrawal symptoms. Just like you have withdrawal symptoms coming off of smoking cigarettes or smoking pot or any type of thing, is your brain, your nervous system gets addicted to it. And as you come off of it, you will get anxiety or nervousness, depression, dilated pupils, fatigue, headache, increased heartbeat, insomnia or other sleep troubles, irritability, mental cloudiness, mood swings, nausea and vomiting, nightmares, paleness of skin, sweaty, clammy skin, and tremors. Who would want that? Sounds like it sucks. So many people go back to drinking, or go back to say, I'll just control it, I'll drink less. But they don't change their diet. So what will help with these symptoms in terms of you've decided to quit and you've decided to go through it and you get your support, what you do is you definitely have to have supplements. And good eating is not enough. And there's a whole bunch of different supplements. The religion of Scientology, although I don't agree with it, they had what's called a rundown, a purification rundown, and they really knew very well that you got to clean the drugs and you got to clean the alcohol. Now they hit it hot and heavy, and it involves many things that I agree with, but I don't agree with the heavy-duty excess amount of niacin, and then doing saunas. I do agree with saunas, but you can take too much niacin. So I wouldn't go the whole way in terms of overdoing that. So when you take extra niacin, this is also used, so this niacin technique is used to clean the plaque out of your cardiovascular system. So a lot of the heart guys, the cardiovascular guys, especially the vegan cardiologists, will use this to clean. So it works. It absolutely will clean you out. You need a detox, but you have to do it in a controlled manner. Okay, but I do agree with what the Scientology talked about, which is you got to sweat it out, you got to drink it out, which is you basically have to clean it out of your with the water that you do drink. Just like if you're trying to clean out a let's say kidney stones or gallstones, drink not an alkaline water. I am totally against alkaline water. You know, in this detox world, alkaline water is the absolute worst thing you could do because it is alkalizing your stomach, and your stomach is acidic, and it's robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's stupid. But what you do drink is you drink distilled water. Distilled water is purified water, not just purified water, but distilled water, because it will pull metabolic waste. It will pull bad minerals. It will pull the calcium deposits. It will pull the bad stuff out of you. Yes, there is actually bloodletting is what they used to do is we just call blood donation. And in fact, there is one of these things, Alan Ott's watching me, and yes, there are a number of different conditions that donating blood. Now, don't donate plasma, which is the plasma they put it back into. Don't let them put anything back into you. But there's many conditions of detox where going and donating blood, because when you get rid of blood, you will actually refresh it with new blood, and refresh it with new blood that you've put the new nutrients in. I'll get to that, but yes, that is another detox protocol, which is how do I clean myself out? And that's the big thing in terms of doing a alcohol detox. But at the same time, is you get the bad stuff out, you got to put good stuff in. So the sweating, so like I said, the Scientology, their whole rundown thing is they would have you do saunas, they'd have you take your vitamins, they'd have you do some calisthenic, like jumping jacks and exercise, walking out in the sun. You know, Kellogg used to do this too. The whole Kellogg, where we get the cereal, that was a doctor, Dr. Kellogg, which is, if you go to Battle Creek, there's a huge building, and it used to be the Kellogg Center, and it was a detox facility. And the rich people, and as well as normal people, would go there, and you would stay like a rehab center, and you would stay in these rooms, and then up on the roof, they would actually have where you could play tennis, and you would walk around the outside. And so they would take people, and you'd go through colonics, you'd go through, you know, green juices, you'd do castor oil packs, and blah, blah, blah. So the history of a detox, and now we talk about like these detox facilities. Sure, you could go to one of these things, but you could do it yourself. And that's what I'm going to talk about, is what would you do yourself? If you're going to do it yourself at home, what would you do? You know, alcohol consumption, long time. Let's say a person says, oh, I only do a little bit, but they do a lot, meaning 2 to, you know, basically what is it, is consuming 2 or more ounces of hard alcohol per day on average. That is an alcoholic. Okay, if you're doing it that much, you're definitely an alcoholic. And it's not good to be an alcoholic because it degenerates your brain cells, your brain function. It creates toxic system. It degenerates your liver. So we got to rebuild that. We got to clean it out. We got to rebuild it. Creates massive nutritional deficiencies, as I said, especially the B vitamins. And without the B vitamins, your brain doesn't work, your nervous system doesn't work, nothing works, and you're not who you're supposed to be. And you've, again, with drugs and alcohol, is that you've had a alternate nervous system come in, and it lives for you, and it thinks for you, and it feels for you. And it's not the real you. So, many people do that because they don't like the real them, because the real them faced trauma, and the real them was damaged, and it's too hard to face. But the real you needs to be cared for and needs to be allowed to run free. Take the collar off it and let it run free and let it be, and it will serve you, and you'll be much happier. And so, like I said, is if you're really bad, you obviously get help, but you also help yourself. And we do this by, number one, cleaning yourself out. Number two, changing the diet. And number three, getting the nutritional, supplements in there. I'm going to go over, there's some real stars here in terms of what you can do and what you can take. And then it's also changing your life in terms of, it's as simple as get out in nature more, walk outside, get some sunshine on your skin, get some sunshine on your eyes, do some grounding, bare feet on the ground. Basically let nature take it away from you and rebuild into you the new you, which has always been there. And it's there waiting for you out in nature. Go for some nature walks. Write some journaling, write some letters to yourself and letters to the ones that you love. These are behaviors. There's a lot of things that you can do to rewrite that. So instead of drinking, do something healthy for yourself. Okay? Some of the other things in terms of how do you know that you have a problem, people go, well, I don't do it that often, right? I'm not every day, right? But if you do it if you're craving alcohol daily, making excuses to drink alcohol, or wanting to drink I just need it to relax. Drinking to have fun. I have to, we play volleyball, but we also drink. Well, but do you really drink, or play volleyball to drink, right? Are you there for the drinking? And a lot of people, you got to check yourself. You got to see if it's all about the drinking. Yes, we like to be outside on the boat, but we drink. Could you be there without drinking? Right? And that's the real test of it, is if it's really difficult for you to be in these places that are good and healthy with family, but you can't be without drinking, you got a problem, and get control of it. Hiding and sneaking alcohol drinks. I don't want them to know. And sometimes we even hide it from ourselves. I don't even want myself to know that I do it. Anger, being irrational, losing control, composure. If any of these things are there and alcohol's been there, then you got a problem. Okay? So one of the top things that we can do is, like I say, is take B vitamins. Okay? And you can't eat enough B vitamins. So there's a couple really good sources of B vitamins. The Premier Research Labs brand of supplements. I sell those. You can get them on my store, but let me talk. They make the best B vitamins in the world. Why? Because they are what's called in-chain. They are probiotically generated, meaning instead of eating the foods that have B vitamins and you eat them and then they go into your gut, and then your gut is and your liver makes the B6 and so it's the little factories in your body that really truly makes these. And so if you eat foods, let's say eggs, which are very high in B6, like the yolks, like a good pasture raised egg, like a real chicken egg, very high in B6, very high in choline, very good for you. But your body still has to process it. And if you're weak, then you don't get very much of it, because what's called the end-chain form, which is the little factories that live inside your system, the probiotics that, as an alcoholic or person who drinks too much alcohol over a long period of time, you killed that. That's gone. And so those little factories are not there anymore. So the best way to absorb B vitamins is to get them in where it's called an end-chain form. Premier Research Labs makes two forms, Max Stress B, which is in a liquid form, and then they've turned the Max Stress B into a pill form, but it's the same type of thing, which is they have these little probiotics live in a tank and digest it and then turn it into the form that your gut would turn it into, so that when it goes into your body, all the work's been done and it absorbs into your system. And it's the end chain forms of, like, say, for instance, the B12 is what's called a methylcobalamin, not the synthetic, which is cyanocobalamin, methylcobalamin, all of these end chain forms that are basically like perfectly packaged for in very large amounts and highly assimilable. So I recommend the Max Stress B. I recommend the what's called the Complete B, which is a pill form of the Max Stress B. Depends upon how you prefer to take it. Definitely getting that. There's another supplement that has been really shown to, where are we at right here? There's a bunch of them, but on the top of the list is this thing called glutamine. Glutamine is something that is inside the gut, and it's actually in the brain too, because keep in mind, we're treating the gut, but you're treating your brain. Your brain has been, your nervous system has been damaged. Your nervous system has been basically messed with, and it's very inflamed. There's lots of brain inflammation, but also nervous system. So when people get the jitters, it's in their body because your nervous system, your brain is in your body. Your brain, your nerves are the tendrils of the tree of your brain, which is all the roots and all the leaves are the tree too. And so your nervous system, your brain is in your fingers, your brain is in your chest, your brain is in your belly, your brain is in your butt, right? Every single cell is your brain. So when many people are going through detox or withdrawal symptoms, they feel it in their brain or their body. It's the same thing. So we're really trying to detox the brain and soothe the brain. Glutamine, you take about 2 capsules of it. That it's for anti-craving. It helps you with the alcohol withdrawal so you don't crave it, right? But it also helps to repair your brain, helps to repair the hyper-firing of the brain. Vitamin C. Vitamin C is a very important thing. So a lot of the same stuff that we're finding with the COVID, vitamin C, vitamin D3, zinc, magnesium, because again, a lot of times people that I do it to relax, their muscles are tight, and if you don't have and they'll drink the alcohol, which is a sedative, and but when you have a magnesium deficiency, your muscles are tight. So drinking the alcohol to release the muscles it's not scratching the itch. It's basically knocking it out, but with a magnesium deficiency, and it's masking a magnesium deficiency. It's masking a B complex deficiency. So many times, again, people are very nutritionally deficient in very specific stuff. Magnesium is one of those minerals that is a muscle relaxant. Without enough magnesium, nothing works. And you're very tight, and your heart can be very tight too. Let me get into a couple other ones. Okay, for the brain, I really like another thing which is called tranquinol. Tranquinol has valerian root, it's a sedative, helps you fall asleep, and tranquinol is typically used maybe 2 to 4 of them if you want help falling asleep. But if you're going through withdrawal symptoms, you can take them multiple times during the day. It's not going to make you drowsy. It's not going to make you fall asleep at the car. It's not going to make you fall asleep at the job, especially if you're taking 1 or 2. But it helps to kind of take the edge off. But it has a very important nutrient called ziziphus flower, or in India, it's what's called the jujube. Jujube is those little, when we sat at the movie, and we ate that candy called jujube, that's modeled after one of these little little berries that's on this tree, which is kind of like a chewy, sweet, sticky berry that comes from this tree in India. But it makes a flower called ziziphus, which is a neurotransmitter descrambler. Now we're also going to get into what alcohol and drugs, but alcohol in particular, has done with your dopamine, serotonin, your happy hormones, and your depression hormones. So we can help to pump, so basically it's sedated that, and you don't know what the happy hormones are anymore. So some of these supplements actually helps to trigger and increase your level of dopamine and serotonin, and also your cells to receive it. because the neurotransmitters are not just in your brain. Every cell has a neurotransmitter. And what happens is the neurotransmitter on the cell, they're overexcited. They're stuck turned on to the Tasmanian devil of whether it be overexcited or, underexcited, sleepy, basically kind of drugged out. It gets stuck there. And what the trichonol helps to do is literally pull those things out of the cellular structure so that the neurotransmitters can now be docked with the correct hormones, which be dopamine and serotonin. Is the sense of ease in the body, the sense of not just the brain can relax, but the whole body can relax, and then relax without having to have the trigger of alcohol. Again, we also want to clean the body up and clean the filters out. So a thing called blood builder, or it's not called blood builder, it's called, what is it called again? I don't remember the name, but I'll remember it. But it's Premier Research Labs has one that helps to build the blood, helps to clean the blood out, which helps to kind of bring the iron levels up, but also is a detoxifier of your blood. And then a probiotic, which is a probiotic helps to fix these little gut factories. Those are the things that have been starved and basically fired. The alcohol was doing the job for it, so those little guys got fired. Well, they need to be rehired again and put back in, and they will help to soothe your brain. Another thing that's really very deficient in people that have overdone alcohol is just the minerals. A multi-mineral support. There's a number of different companies that do this. Premier Research Labs makes one called the pH support, which is a liquid. You put it in your water. Those are the trace minerals. But if you want what I call the mega minerals, there's the big ones and then there's the trace ones. The mega ones would be calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, these types of things. That can come from greens. So you do your green juices, or you can take it in a pill form, which is the fermented greens. Premier Research Labs makes the fermented greens, and fermented greens are better than just the raw greens because the fermentation process liberates more minerals that are even there. The little factories make more than is even in the grass itself. It's a miracle. It's great. But let them do the job for you. So getting the minerals is a huge part of it. The L-tyrosine. L-tyrosine is the thing that's actually used for the liver. Also, another thing called N-acetylcysteine, NAC, which they're trying to call it's a drug. They're trying to outlaw it and say you can only get it with prescription. Well, good luck with that. Because it's not. It's a food supplement, and it should always stay in a food supplement. And NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is something that, let's say a person is alcohol poisoned. Let's say a person is passed out and someone drops them off at the emergency room. This happens multiple times where people is almost dead. They'll die from alcohol poisoning. Their friends just drop them off. What do? They bring them in, they pump their stomach, they fill them with what's called activated charcoal, because that absorbs the alcohol, and then they also put N-acetylcysteine, NAC, will help to detox a person's liver. And then N-acetylcysteine is also used for a person, let's say a person has liver damage, has a bad drinker, you develop cirrhosis of the liver, fatty liver, cirrhosis of the liver, scarred liver. NAC, N-acetylcysteine, will heal that. You can also have people have a scarred liver from overdoing drugs like the over-the-counter pain medication, the NSAIDs. That would be Tylenol, acetaminophen, Advil, ibuprofen. People that have overdone the opiates, tramadol, all of these other types of things for their back pain. You do those things, or Aleve, which is the sodium naproxen. You do these things long enough, they will destroy your liver. And so N-acetylcysteine is used to repair the liver for all of these conditions, which is you overdid alcohol, you overdid drugs, you overdid even the over-counter drugs, and it's really damaged your liver. N-acetylcysteine is a huge benefit for it. So likewise, if you're trying to repair from but again, you'll have people go, I'm not that bad, but if you've been one of these weekly drinkers for years and years, yes, you may not have cirrhosis of the liver, but you have liver damage, you have brain damage, you have gut damage, you have cellular damage. Could it be that your arthritis or your achy joints or stuff like that is because of the alcohol poisoning and the detox and the nutritional deficiencies? You're starving. How many people are huge in terms of morbidly obese, but if you could do a test on them and find out that really they are like a skinny person in terms of they're malnourished, right? Like hiding inside of a fat person is a skinny Ethiopian who is like, they're starving to death. But how could that be? They're big. Well, they're just full of empty calories. That fat is a protection, and really they are nutriently, because what is a well-fed person is not fat and is not big. A well-fed person is the nutrients. It's the minerals, it's the vitamins, it's the B vitamins, it's what's called the macro and micronutrients. And so, don't judge a book by its cover, because it could really be, again, the person goes, oh, they're well fed, right? Look at how big they are. Like they don't need any more. They're actually starving. Or let's say the alcohol person, they're starving of the nutrients and their body is triggering them, but they're so used to going to the alcohol, especially the beer drinkers, which is they're going to the beer for the B vitamins, but the alcohol is basically causing a toxin. And so it's a very, very little amount and they're not really getting any of it, okay? Milk, there's a number of different really good liver detoxifiers, liver gallbladder detoxifiers. The Premier Research Labs makes a one called Liver ND, which has milk thistle and red ginseng and ashwagandha and that other stuff. All of these are really good liver detoxifiers. Liver ND is a really good one, and has just a whole smattering of that. The gallbladder ND has what's called Nani's Gold Coin, and that helps to clear the gallbladder out. Also the liver. Anything that you do with the gallbladder is what you're also doing with the liver. But it also has high levels of B6, N-chain B6. That's really good. There's another really good supplement if you're talking about an inflamed brain, meaning your brain is on fire, your nerves are on fire because of the drugs and because of the alcohol. Phytomethylate has a combination of choline, and choline has been shown to help to really detox and be a really take the inflammation out of the brain. And it helps with you rebuilding what's called the methyl groups of, I know I'm kind of saying confusing stuff, but that's what we're saying is that you have to treat the organs, but you also have to treat each one of the little cells, and you have to treat each DNA of the cells, because the DNA of every cell, so the whole body as well as all of the little particles, it's the whole building plus the bricks, plus each little pebble that's inside the bricks. It's the big, it's the little. And so a good strategy of helping to repair your body and refeed it is you want to do all of these things. And it acts as what's called an antioxidant. And with alcohol poisoning or again, long time, even moderate, eventually what it does is it really does poison the brain, and then the brain becomes full of lots of what's called free radical damage. Free radicals, so long term, that's your Alzheimer's, that's your dementia. Grandma and grandpa, blah, 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 in a nursing home without their brain can't remember you. Now, they weren't all alcoholics, right? But many of them were, right? And what was common is the brain damage came from the breakdown of the brain tissue from free radical damage. Now, we can talk about the plaque deposits and the amyloid plaques and things like that they're starting to figure out what's really clogging the brain. So it's not getting enough of the good fats. It's blocked off of that. But the thing is it's stuck with a lot of radioactive type of damaged cells, and that's what's called free radical damage. Well, there's a Superman to the rescue of that, and that's called antioxidants. Antioxidants are the antioxidants. So free radicals damage is really oxidation. And it's the breakdown of the cell, and it's the waste products of the cells. It's the toxicity of the cells that then allows these little Tasmanian devils of singlet oxygens to then start battering all over the place. But antioxidants, which is the fruits and vegetables that have lots of colors in them, fats, really good fats like the fish fat, olive oil, coconut oil, hemp oil, these different types of things are what's called a antioxidant. They are Superman to the rescue. And it rewrites the damage and repairs the damage. It soaks up the damage. And there's a ton of antioxidants. But fat is an antioxidant. So getting the good fats in, and that's when you go back into the Scientology rundown, it's putting a lot of these good nutrients, sweating it out, and then also filling the body with good oils. They use the vegetable oils. I like a good, again, if you want to do a vegan source, I like the DHA comes from a microalgae. And that's what the little plankton eat, that the little fish eat, that the big fish eat, okay? And then there's another one which is called the EPA DHA, and that is coming from a fish source. Really good fish sources. I like to have a little bit of both, right? And really pump up. So a person is trying to repair themselves from drug or alcohol withdrawal, put lots of essential fatty acids in there. So as far as the DHA, that would be like, 10. And it's best when you really are starting to get over it, you want to hit it hard in terms of you could do 20 of the essential fatty acids a day, take them with a protein meal. You could do all of these different vitamins. Yes, it's going to cost you some money, but in the long run, it'll make sure that you're successful so that you can get over the cravings, you can get through it, your body will feel better. And then after a month or two of doing it, hard like that, where you're doing spending lots of money, spending lots of time doing it. Now, it doesn't have to be super lots of money, but it's more than you were spending. But if you're not drinking the alcohol, then it's probably a wash. People spend lots of money on alcohol. You got the money. If you're drinking, you got the money. I can guarantee you. So you'll eat better, you'll save money, and you'll spend it where it really needs to go, into the real nutrient profile of putting your body in the rehab, but like the Kellogg rehab, which is, it's a whole process of getting the bad out, but feeling it with the good stuff, okay? Then there's another really good supplement that has been shown. It's what's called mucuna pruriens, or it's what's called the velvet bean. There's a number of different names for it. Velvet bean. So it's a supplement that you can find. It's what's called mucuna, mucuna, then pruriens, puriens. Like I said, it's also known as velvet bean. It has been shown in traditional medicine to be used for a number of different things. It's actually been used for snake bite because it helps to detox the venom. It's one of these things that really helps the brain. It's used to detox the brain. And one of the things is because what it does with L-DOPA, it's a precursor for L-tyrosine, L-DOPA, and dopamine. And so basically it will reformulate the reward centers. If you've rewarded, I did good, I was a good boy, I was a good girl, pat myself on the back, I'm going to give myself a drink. I'm going to give myself some sugar. If we have basically trained the dog of your brain with the alcohol, you take it out, but the dog's still waiting there going, where's my treat, right? So you have to treat it. And that's the best way because, but again, that's how it works. But we want to change it out and do replacement with this. Instead of the alcohol, I'm going to replace it with a run. I'm going to replace it with a hug. I'm going to replace it with, getting back to work. I'm going to replace it with sunshine. I'm going to replace it with other things that give me that hit, that rewards it. But in the meantime, when we're in that beginning phase, it hasn't kicked in yet. It's not going to scratch it. It's like, the alcoholic, here's a milkshake, right? Or, here's your green drink. They're like, that doesn't cut it at all. I'm not there yet. And so until you're there, you want to have things to help you with this neurotransmitter support. The Trencanol, The muca, let me say, what is it again? It's hard to say it. It's mucuna pruriens. That has been really helped to rebuild these neurotransmitters. Another one is passion flower. Passion flower, they call it passion flower not just because it's a flower that looks passionate and, ooh, I'm going to give you this flower. It's because when we drink it, when we eat it, it helps to re-bring that passion back in. What is the passion? It's a neurotransmitter. It's a hormone. Happy, depressed is a hormone. Nice or sad is a hormone. Sweet or angry is a hormone. And the angriness and upsetness and pain is a hormone, right? Just whereas pain relieving is a hormone. And we get stuck when we've been used to pain relieving with some sort of drug. We take that away, you're going to be stuck in pain. You're going to go through these withdrawal symptoms. So we bring things in to not only soothe it, but then to retrain it and say, you are your pain relieving. You are your happiness. You should be, and where you go and what you see and what you touch and what you say, real life without this. Wouldn't it be great to get back to that? Like, no kid was born and no child needed alcohol to enjoy the movie. When you were a kid, you didn't, like the pajamas and the pillow was enough to just enjoy Disney, right? And it was enough. Well, now, or enjoy the lake, or enjoy the woods, or enjoy the clouds. We get older, and now it's like I'll enjoy it when I've had my puff, or I've had my drink, or my snort. No, it would be great to get back to so that you could then have it back, which is have my cake and eat it too. I'm not against alcohol. I love wine. Wine don't love me. I love alcohol, and but I personally can't do it. I have to take, so for me, it causes, I'm like, my wife jokes, like I'm like the Asian people, which is I do not have an enzyme to break it down. If I drink alcohol, I'm going to get snorty and I'm going to get a headache. If I drink red wine, I'm going to have later that day where I get hot and I literally will have a migraine. So I take a supplement that helps to, if I know I'm going to drink alcohol, and normally I don't, but if I know I want to be with the family and I want to enjoy myself, I still don't really enjoy it that much, but it helps me to not have as many problems. It's not glutathione. I take 4 glutathione about an hour before I drink, and then I'm not so bad. Then I'm not so snorty, and if I don't, then I'm hacking stuff up and my nose gets all plugged up and my brain feels hurty and stuff like that. So there's certain people that, again, we're just not made to drink alcohol. But I can say, there's a point to it. You can enjoy it. There's some other special considerations. Okay. This is if you really are struggling with it. If a person is an alcoholic, they should not try to eliminate on their own. Basically, you need to get help, okay? Essential to join an alcoholic group, okay? Get daily outdoor exercise, change of social outings. Do not hang out with others that drink. Don't go to those places for a while. Doesn't have to be forever, but it's, could be months until you're over it. Then there's other things that people have completely forgot about. Do not consume foods or nutritional products that contain alcohol. So remember I said the Max Stress B or the Liver ND, they have alcohol in them. So if you're an alcoholic, like the liquid ones, that's why for some people doing the Max Stress B as a pill form, maybe you should do that. There's another little trick, which is supplements that come in an alcohol tincture. What you do is you put them in hot water. Put them in some hot water, meaning not boiling hot water, but hot water. That, like if you're going to make a cup of tea, put your alcohol in there and then let it sit there for a while because the alcohol will gas out and then the alcohol will completely disappear. But there's some people that it's enough of a trigger, so you can't do that. That also includes, do not use any body care products that contain alcohol. That would be mouthwash or perfume. So for some people, these can be triggers, meaning I do the mouthwash that's got the scope or whatever, that's got some alcohol in it. Man, that just set me off. So find other things for a while you're detoxing and while you're trying to get it off. And again, even the body products, So if you're used to using a perfume, all perfumes have alcohol in it, then use an essential oil. Find an essential oil that does not have alcohol and use that to smell nice. There's a lot of these things that, again, if you really are struggling, you need all the help that you can get. And this is a good roundabout way of how do I treat all of these things, especially on a biochemical brain level. Like, you need help, and this can help you, and it will help you to be successful. And you should be successful. You should stop drinking and eliminate it for a while, and then if you want to bring it back in, it can come in at a minimal amount. And there's some people you just can't. You can't, if it's going to cause you to fall and fall off the wagon, then you can't. And if you're that person, you're actually going to be healthier and happier without it. But you'll get there fastest by really nutrient-wise replacing what was masked and what became a huge divot in your body, and you just didn't know it. And that's these vitamins and minerals. So until next time, this is Jason Eagle, your Natural Health Authority. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. I invite you to press the like button because you liked what I had to say about your health, and also press the subscribe button to be able to easily find me and also be part of this. I look forward to helping you reclaim your health naturally.